And I'm Nick Birnie.
Coming up on Ignite News, marathon runners in this year's Around the Bay race brave the cold April weather.
And the popular graphic novel Death Note from Japan has now become a live-action television series. We'll have that and much more coming up on today's show.
Coming up on the show, we have Brazilian authorities that are worried about cybercrime potential at the Rio Olympics later this year. All this and more coming up. I'm Liam Graham.
Hi, I'm Samantha Hoover. Coming up in entertainment news, X-Files star David Duchovny finds the truth in releasing his second novel. All that and more later on.
With the winter weather finally on its way out, will April showers really bring May flowers? For Ignite Weather, I'm Nick Jambrosic.
And welcome to Ignite News. I'm Amelia Jaggard.
And I'm Nick Birnie. Here's what's making news.
A Hamilton firefighter is one of two veterans named in a $4 million lawsuit filed by the Ontario Provincial Firefighters Association. The claim says the pair, while helping firefighters' relatives with occupational disease compensation cases on behalf of the union, convinced families to redirect up to 12% of their settlements to the two other men, instead of donating the money to the association. The two are also accused of inappropriately spending their salary provided by the association. Their lawyers have at least 20 days to file statements of defense or notices of intent to defend the lawsuit.
Two people are in hospital with stab wounds after an alleged home invasion on Hamilton Mountain early Thursday morning. First responders were called up to the Hazelton Avenue home just after 2, where they found two victims, both suffering from puncture wounds. The two were transported to Hamilton General Hospital, where one victim remains in critical condition.
There are plenty of activities going on around Hamilton this weekend. Let's check in with Kyle Medeiros for this week's community calendar.
I'm Kyle Medeiros, and this is your community calendar. On Friday, unmask the mystery in a fun evening supporting local autist charity. The Masquerade Gala for Autism has a prize for Best Mask, a silent auction, and a fun balloon pop game. Saturday, the Makeology Craft Fair is a one-day event where the selection of some of the most skilled makers showcase and sell their unique work under one roof. That's it for this week's community calendar.
Marathon runners in this year's Around the Bay road race may have ran in pretty cold weather, but that sure didn't stop them. Ignite News reporter Kyle Medeiros has more.
The Around the Bay road race is the oldest distance road race in North America. This year, hundreds of people took to the streets to run and cheer on friends and family.
So Cheryl, you're telling me your son is running today?
Yes, he is, 5K.
Is this his first year running?
He's run in the Ancaster races a couple of times, got first place in both, and this is his first time for Around the Bay. They should be proud of themselves, everybody should be proud, and it'll be a good race.
We are here to see his dad, my nephew, that is from Barrie, Ontario, run in about his 6th or 7th Around the Bay. He's an Ironman, so we're very proud of him. He's done the Ironman 3 times now, I think. And he just keeps on running, even in the middle of very winter.
I feel very proud of him.
Are you going to race too?
Maybe next year.
This year, temperatures on the course hovered below 0, though that did not stop Thunder Bay's Trevor Zemek, who thought the cold helped him finish 3rd in the 30-kilometer race.
To be honest with you, I am in disbelief. I did not expect to even come top 5, just knowing the type of caliber of runners that were here. I think the conditions and the cold really played into my favor. You know, coming from Thunder Bay, we train in minus 30, the middle 10K, and then through the hills was super windy, really cold, and we really had to work hard on that back section. Last year I did it more as a fun run, but a hard run, and finished 17th, and really enjoyed the course. So we came back this year and really trained for it this time, and ended up working out really well.
If you want to start training for next year, Around the Bay will be back March 26th, 2017. Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Kyle Medeiros.
The popularity of Webster's Falls may cause a headache for those who live nearby, but not everybody thinks the crowds are a problem. Maxie Lieberman has the story.
It may not be ideal hiking weather quite yet, but peak season is just around the corner, and very soon, Webster's Falls will be swarming with tourists, here to explore one of the waterfalls Hamilton is famous for. The natural landmark and its neighbor, Tews Falls, can draw thousands of visitors in a single day. This means an overflowing parking lot, excessive noise, and even litter for disgruntled nearby residents who spoke out about their frustrations at a meeting in the beginning of March. But these concerns are not necessarily shared by visitors.
I would hope that the city and the governing body that takes care of this kind of thing would try to make arrangements to make it better for the local residents, but this is something that everyone should be able to enjoy, and just because there's a peak season doesn't mean people should be deterred from coming back here.
I would hope that people would be respectful of the neighbors that back onto such conservation areas. You would think that you wouldn't park on their property, but I understand the pull to see something as beautiful as the falls.
One possible solution for the parking problem is a proposed shuttle to and from the falls, starting at Christie Conservation Area.
I think we would take advantage of that if there was better parking over there, and if it was better for the actual area to be shuttled, we would take advantage of that for sure.
Well, I think if the shuttle was convenient, I would take that, yes. If I thought it would make a big difference and it would be more convenient than, if you were coming and trying to find parking on the street, then the shuttle would be easier, that would be fine, yeah.
Like, it would suck to get here and not find a parking spot and then go home again, but I don't even know where that other place is, so I don't think I personally would use it, but maybe it would free up the parking for some of us because I'm from Toronto, so for me to get here, then that would be easier for me because less people would be parking.
Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Maxie Liberman.
Nature has thrown us another curveball for this weekend. Let's go to Nick Jambrosic for our weather report.
Thanks, Amelia. Well, this is certainly not the spring we were all hoping for, but it does look like the cold weather is finally on its way out. Today, throughout Hamilton, Toronto, and Niagara Falls, it will be mostly cloudy, and Niagara Falls with the warmest temperature around 8 degrees. The GTA sits around 5 degrees today, and moving farther southwest down into London, temperatures are a little cooler at 2 degrees. Then into Windsor, there are some light rain showers, and it currently sits at 5 degrees. Now on to Hamilton weather for the next 24 hours. This evening, it will be mostly cloudy with temperatures sitting at around 4 degrees. Into this evening and overnight, it will still be cloudy, but with a 40% chance of flurries. The flurries are expected to end early tomorrow morning with temperatures at around -2. Now let's take a look at the next 5-day weather forecast and see what the weekend has in store for us. Tomorrow, still expect to see those flurries in the morning, turning into sun and clouds in the afternoon. Saturday is hopefully one of the last cold days of the season because it's going to be a cold one. It will be a low of -10 with a mix of sun and clouds and a small chance of flurries. Begins to warm up a little bit on Sunday and with a high of +1. Starting off the week on Monday, we start to see some of those classic April showers, and it will also feel like April since next week we can finally see some double digits with a high of 11 degrees. On Tuesday, expect some more showers with a high of 6, and that's it for weather today. Let's throw it over to sports with Liam Graham.
Thank you, Nick. Quebec Senator and former NHL coach Jacques Demers has been hospitalized after he suffered a stroke Wednesday night. He has been stabilized in a Montreal hospital and was scheduled to make an appearance for a radio interview on 98.5 FM, but didn't show up. The 71-year-old senator for Rougeau, Quebec has been known for illiteracy problems since 2005, which he attributes to a rough upbringing. Demers had served as a head coach in the NHL and the World Hockey Association. He also managed to lead the Canadiens to the Stanley Cup in 1933. According to a recent report by cybersecurity company Kaspersky Lab, Brazil ranks #1 in the world for cybercrime. This is raising significant worry over the security of people's online assets during the upcoming Rio Olympics. Brazil has notoriously lax cybercrime laws, making the country a hotspot for cybercrimes such as fake banking scams, phishing, and all sorts of malware. The Brazilian authorities say their unit isn't as beefed up as the cybercriminals' tech is, but they do plan on training more cop units to handle cybercrime just in time for the Olympics on August 5th. Canadian swimmer Kylie Massey broke 2 national records at the Olympic trials. The swimmer from LaSalle, Ontario broke the 100-meter backstroke record with a time of 59.17 seconds at the Toronto Pan Am Centre this past Wednesday. She broke the record again Wednesday evening by shaving off another 0.11 seconds, narrowing the time to over a second faster than the Olympic qualifying standard. There were over 100 vocal fans present to see her win her ticket and cheer her on to victory towards the Rio Olympic Games later this year. None of Canada's 7 hockey teams will be making it to the playoffs this year, and Canadians are disappointed. An online survey by the Angus Reid Institute states that 54% of Canadians that usually watch playoff hockey don't plan on watching as much this year, while 19% said they won't watch at all. 8% of fans said that they would watch more playoff hockey, and 33% said that their habits would remain the same. Canadians are likely to root for other Canadian teams if their team gets eliminated, but with the absence of Canadians this year, they'll have to start picking American. That's it for sports. Now back to the news desk.
The popular Japanese graphic novel and anime Death Note became an animated television series. Ignite reporter Kyle Pike checked out the series for this week's TV review.
Hi, I'm Kyle Pike, and today we'll be taking a look at the 2006 Japanese animated series Death Note, created by Takeshi Obata. Death Note essentially is about a magical notebook which has the power to kill people by simply writing their name and picturing their face. The premise of the show is a genius teenager by the name of Light Yagami finds this notebook one day sitting around. He picks up the notebook and begins experimenting with it. After experimentation, he begins to realize the power of this notebook, and he begins to use the power of the notebook to go around and kill criminals that he sees as unfit to live in this world. It is a series filled with many plot twists, revelations, and overall a very good story about a fall from grace. One of the things that I really like about the show is the voice work, and it would surprise many to learn that it's actually all Canadian cast members. It is recorded right here in Canada, all the way over in Vancouver. The voice cast itself was surprisingly good, considering that the company that had done it was usually known for having cheesy Saturday morning cartoons as their lineup of voiceover work. The animation style for its time is very well and still holds up to this day, even though it was done almost a decade ago. The animation style is very fluid and never really seems to have a dull moment. I would recommend it to anyone who's looking for any kind of new, smart, and socially aware show to pick up. I'm Kyle Pike, and I'll be seeing you next time.
Thanks, Kyle. So with the exams around the corner, we did catch up with Mohawk College Support Officer Andrea Bernessi at the Learning Center to talk a little exam prep.
My name is Andrea Bernessi. I work in the Learning Support Center at the Fennel campus. I oversee the peer tutor program. I've worked in this position for the past 4 years. In the Learning Support Center, we have 4 main programs and services that we offer to students. First is our content peer tutoring, and that's help for any courses within various programs. We have our Writing Center, which is help with any communications courses, as well as help with writing, formatting, grammar, those kinds of things, like citing for assignments. We have our Math Learning Center, which is help with any math type question. It's all on a drop-in basis, Monday to Friday. And we also have our PASS program, which stands for Peer Assisted Study Sessions. Our PASS program is where PASS leaders go into the classrooms for targeted math and communications courses. They sit in on the lectures with the students, even though they've completed the course before, and then they hold tutorial groups throughout the week and help students in a group setting. Some tips I have for students to be successful before final exams is, access the help. Don't be afraid to ask. There's still time to get in for tutoring students. You can go onto our website, which is mohawkcollege.ca/learning support center, and they can access the peer tutor homepage and follow the instructions on how to create an account and to book online. And they meet their tutor here at the Fennel campus or at the outlying campuses if they're there.
Hamilton cab drivers are setting up a campaign urging regulation of Uber drivers. Cabbies are asking city councilors to include Uber in the Hamilton taxi bylaw. This would require Uber to abide by the same laws they have to. City staff is expected to bring forward a new recommended taxi bylaw, and if Uber doesn't comply with the resulting legislation, City Councilor Sam Marula vowed to ask for an injunction to stop the service from operating in the city.
Belgian prosecutors want to hear from anyone who might have filmed or photographed a suspect in the suicide bombing at Brussels airport. The man was wearing a hat and can be seen in security video with the 2 suicide bombers who died in the March 22nd attacks. Photos that were released by prosecutors show him leaving the airport on foot and walking to a nearby town.
The most anticipated matchup in cinematic history has finally hit theaters. Ignite reporters Christian Marks and John Passion give their review of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
It's away. Clark Kent, Daily Planet. What's your position on the Bat Vigilante in Gotham?
Welcome to Ignite News Movie Review. I'm Tristan Marks.
And I'm John Passion.
It's the gladiator match of the century.
This week we saw Batman vs. Superman:
Dawn of Justice.
It stars Ben Affleck as Batman,
Henry Cavill as Superman,
Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman,
and that guy who created Facebook is evil, Jesse Eisenberg.
Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. I love it!
Batman vs. Superman is a clash of fists and ideologies between DC's 2 biggest superheroes.
Batman fears that Superman has too much unchecked power. Meanwhile, Superman is afraid of the vigilante Bat who terrorizes Gotham. Alright, John, what did you think about this movie?
Well, I saw it twice, and the first time I hated it, but the second time I really fell in love with this movie.
No, I disagree with you because I loved this movie from the get-go. It's like a mythic film that you just don't see anymore.
The movie does require a minimum amount of brain power. And I don't mean this to be pretentious or insulting, but if you don't give it a chance and really think about the scenes and how they relate to each other, it's very easy to just say, this is confusing nonsense.
You have to understand it's not just about Batman and Superman and the huge fight they have at the climax. It's also about how their worldviews just clash throughout the film.
Yeah, especially from Batman's side, because this movie really dissects Batman's character and motivations, and it's very refreshing to see this new take on this old character.
What score do you give this movie?
A 4 out of 5 Batarangs.
You know what? I give it 4 big red S's out of 5.
That's it for Ignite News Movie Review. I'm John Passion.
And I'm Tristan Marks. See you next time.
Every week, Ignite checks in with Pam Jameson for the Hamilton-Burlington SPCA to look at some of the adoptable animals that could be the new addition to your family. Let's take a look at these furry fellers.
Hey, I'm Pam, back from the Hamilton-Burlington SPCA. And you know, talk about dust bunnies. No, really, that's just a joke. They do shed. This is a lovely little bunny, probably about 7 months old. Little female, Nanu is her name. I think I might be changing that, I'm not too sure. They do make wonderful, wonderful pets. This little one, can you imagine, was found running around in somebody's backyard. So young, so vulnerable. They don't know how to fend for themselves. So it's really important that when you do get a bunny that you do a little research for it first. They're for life. They can live anywhere from 9 to 10 to 11 years, and they make awesome pets. A little bit of training goes a long way. They're as clean as you keep them, and going back to the training, they can be litter box trained. They're just like having a cat. Awesome, awesome pets, and this one is so cute. So if you want a little dust bunny in your home, come on up and check Nanu. I have Toma with me. He got the name from hematoma. He had a hematoma in the ear, which had to be drained and taken care of and have a little surgery on it. Then we found out something was going on with his eyes. So you've met a few animals that we have available for adoption in our care, and sometimes they just need a matter of grooming or just to put on a little bit of weight and get their traditional vetting done. But in this case, Toma needed to have an eye removal. He was found on the street. Through no fault of his own. He probably got into a fight. We're not sure what happened, but his eye was severely injured and had to be removed. So now we're gonna do all the care that it takes to get him healed till he gets in his new forever home. He's going to adjust fine with one eye. There's not a problem there. He's only 4 years old, and I think he has a lot to give, and I think he's got a lot to be grateful for. He sure is lucky that he came into our care, and that's what our job is here, to help those that can't help themselves. So if you're interested in Toma, come and check it out. We're at 245 Dartnell Road up on the East Mountain, just off the Lincoln Alexander Parkway.
Lots more to come on the show, including a trip to Big B Comics to check out new pop vinyl figures and graphic novels.
This week we're going to be taking a look at some new Image graphic novels coming out, a bunch of new series wrapped up in, Batman vs. Superman and Daredevil, as well as some hot new product for a few television series coming up.
This coming week, Hamilton City Councilors will be voting on changing the system that elects them. The new method would radically change the election process by introducing a ranked ballot system, which would have a first, second, and third choice. If a candidate wins 50% plus one of the first place votes, that person wins the election. If no one achieves that majority, the person with the fewest first place votes is eliminated, and voters' second place choices are then divided up among the remaining candidates. The process continues until there is a majority.
Representatives of the Six Nations Men's Fire asked workers to leave a local pumping station in Caledonia after a court ruled against allowing protesters at the Avalon housing development. The incident at the station located on Highway 54 did last a few minutes on Wednesday. The recent decision, though, went against the Men's Fire request to amend the injunction handed down last fall, banning prosecutors from the site. Men's Fire was to meet Wednesday night in order to discuss options on appealing the court's decision, and as well how to proceed with respect to the development.
Now let's hear from Samantha Hoover for our update in the entertainment world.
Thanks, Amelia. Country music legend Merle Haggard has died at age 79. Haggard died on Wednesday, his birthday, from pneumonia complications, according to his agent Lance Roberts. Haggard recorded more than 36 #1 country hits in his musical career, including Okie from Muskogee and Fightin' Side of Me. Beyonce has issued a lawsuit against a clothing company that seems to be ripping her off. The Texas-based Fiancé clothing maker sells apparel and accessories that plays on the words of her songs. The lawsuit also claims defendant Andre Maurice has filed 2 U.S. trademark applications for the company name. Beyonce is seeking unspecified damages. Janet Jackson is putting the brakes on her world tour a second time for Parenthood. Jackson posted a video to Twitter announcing the break, thanking her fans, dancers, and crew for their support, and adds that she cannot wait to start the tour up again. Jackson previously delayed the Unbreakable tour when she underwent surgery due to an undisclosed health issue. And Special FBI agent Fox Mulder is now an author. David Duchovny, who got his big break on 90s sci-fi show The X-Files, released his second book titled Bucky Effing Dent this week. The book follows a young writer who discovers redemption when he moves back in with his dying father, all because of former New York Yankees shortstop Bucky Dent's unlikely 1978 home run. Duchovny released his first book titled Holy Cow last February. Now back to the news desk.
For this week's comic review, we went to the locally famous Big B Comics to check out the latest pop figures and graphic novels. Let's take a look.
So we got lots of cool new merch this week, all kinds of comics, graphic novels, and toys. We'll start out with the Marvel Bijouju Lady Deadpool statue. The Bijouju line is very popular with a lot of, comic collectors. Lots of very pretty ladies is what they do. That's kind of their specialty. So the Lady Deadpool is the latest and greatest one. And coming up at the end of the month, we have the new season of Game of Thrones coming up. So we got tons of new Game of Thrones pops. And we got the Night King, as well as the Daenerys with her dragon. These are must-have for any Game of Thrones collectors and Game of Thrones fans, and it's sure to get you excited for the new season. On the graphic novel front, the 2 big releases this week. First one would be Paper Girls. It's like a 1980s action, sci-fi, all over the place kind of weird story about a bunch of young girls who are paper girls. And one night when they're out delivering papers, a lot of very out there things start to happen to them, and it just keeps on piling on from there. So this is, you know, probably what I'd say a lot of the staff's pick of the week is definitely Paper Girls. And then obviously the biggest book this week coming out is Walking Dead, Volume 25. You know, fans of the show, comics, everybody's really excited for this one. It is a pivotal part in the story of Walking Dead. Okay, that's it for this week. Thanks for checking out all our stuff, and be sure to swing into Big V Comics anytime you're looking for any of your nerd culture needs.
Do you like working out? This week's episode of Fit Tips shows us alternative exercises for full body workouts.
Hi guys, my name is Leah Mummery and I'm going to be showing you 4 exercises for a total body workout using the Bozu. Our first exercise is the wide squat and jump. Start with one foot in the middle of the Bozu and the other foot to the side for a wide stance. You're going to go down into a squat, push off with your foot on the Bozu and push up into a jump. Next is the Bozu burpee. Using the unstable side of the Bozu, you're going to walk your feet back into a push-up position. Push up with both hands on the side of the Bozu, either walk or jump your feet in, grab the Bozu and push it up over your head. Our third exercise is the oblique side up. You're going to lay across the Bozu, feet should be shoulder width apart so it anchors you to the floor. When you extend over the Bozu, you're going to get a deep stretch through your side and squeeze the obliques as you come up, remembering to lift your shoulder blades. Lastly is the push-up walkover. Put one hand in the center of the ball and one hand off to the side, allowing a dynamic push-up to happen because one chest and shoulder is going to stretch a little further than the other. Walking back and forth, you're going to push up and walk to the other side. Drop down and get a nice stretch through the chest and shoulder. Thanks for watching this week's Fit Tips. Make sure to give the Bozu a try.
Developers are proposing to modernize and maintain historic features to buildings along Hamilton's Gore Park. Tim Bullock, a lawyer representing the property owners, says that a new 5-story building is planned and will include retail stores as well as apartments with balconies overlooking the park. The historic 19th century buildings were scheduled for demolish in 2013, but were abandoned at the last minute by council because of a heritage protection designation. Pending council's approval, the buildings could be up and running within 18 months.
Police now have reason to believe 27-year-old Richard Dolson has returned to the Hamilton area and are asking for the public's assistance in locating and apprehending him. On December 18th of 2012, shortly before about 1 a.m., Hamilton police had responded to reports of a fight that was taking place at the Poorhouse located on Fennell Avenue East in Hamilton. For reasons unknown, the suspect picked up a glass bottle and struck the victim, a 36-year-old man, in the side of the head, which caused him serious injuries. In 2014, an arrest warrant was issued for Dolson for assault causing bodily harm. During this time, though, he refused to surrender to police and instead chose to flee the province. Anyone with information has been asked to contact Hamilton Police.
If you were trapped in a TV show for a week, what show would it be and why? Ignite News reporter B. Logan asked students at Mohawk College for our question of the week.
All right, so if I were trapped inside a TV show for a week, I'd probably choose Pokemon. I've always wanted to be a Pokemon trainer in real life, but that sad reality we live in, there's no Pokemon.
Probably say Heroes, only because then I could have superpowers and be badass the whole time.
I would be in a TV show Breaking Bad, just because, it's a crazy show for one. It's a whirlwind of different activities, different events. Which character would I be? Honestly, probably Walter White, man, the main character.
So every week, Ignite brings you the latest in the tech world. So we spoke to Peter Lorimer from Henry's in Ancaster for this week's Gear Guide.
Hello, I'm Peter, and today we're at Henry's in Ancaster. We have the Panasonic FZ1000 camera. And it has a fully articulating screen, 1-inch sensor, 20 megapixels. It zooms from 25mm to 400mm. Now it at the widest aperture is f2.8, but as you zoom in, it only goes down to f4, so it lets in more light at the long end. Where this one excels is in the video department. This one will shoot 4K video at 30 frames progressive, and it will still shoot 1080 at 60 frames progressive. And it has a mic jack, no headphone jack, but again a mic jack, which is pretty exciting for a little camera. It does have a cold shoe, which you could put a microphone or a flash on there. Excellent viewfinder on this one, really good eye relief, and also when you put your eye up to it, it automatically switches from the back screen to the eyepiece. This one's on sale right now, $9.99, regularly $10.99. Amazing pictures, amazing video in a handheld camera with an amazing zoom. Thank you very much.
That's all for our Ignite News coverage. For more coverage, you can catch us on our website at ignitenews.ca or online at Ignite on Twitter. I'm Nick Birnie.
And I'm Amelia Jaggard. Thanks for watching.